Richmond completed. West Coast is next. Guys, we're so back. Now, North Melbourne winning a game can cure a lot of things, Marnie.
Yes.
But it can't cure my sickness, unfortunately. So I'm still a bit sick. I'm going to cough a little bit. I apologise, guys. But you know what? I don't care because North won.
This is going to be one of the most rogue episodes we've ever done. You're sick. I'm dusty as hell.
Yeah.
We won a game. We've seen us win a game this year now.
Happy birthday to Marnie from North Melbourne, I think, for the win.
Yeah.
As well, I believe.
I think it's going to be my birthday every single week now.
It feels like it is anyway.
Not only do I love a birthday, but if that's the sort of performance we pull out every single week, I'm happy to celebrate it for 24 weeks of the year.
No, it was incredible. That was my first win I've seen it live in 6 years.
That's crazy.
And I can't say that anymore. The streak's broken. And I'm kind of sad about the streak.
No, that's a great streak to break, you saddo.
No,
what do you mean?
No. Let me finish, Marnie. No, I'm glad it's broken. Don't get me wrong. I posted a very raw video of me right at the end.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to, if this is the duck that's broken today, I need to capture this moment forever.
Of course.
And share it to everyone who listens, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
I forgot the camera was there for a bit. And I got very lightheaded and I got sad afterwards because I was emotional. So I can't believe that streak is broken. Yes, of course, I'm happy it's broken. The streak was kind of so bad it was funny and it was a good conversation piece sometimes. But
that became part of your core North Melbourne personality.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But now it is broken and I can't say that anymore. But hey, I don't care. We won a game. North Melbourne's the best. Finals, here we come.
I just want to thank everyone so much for all your lovely birthday messages over the weekend. I really, really appreciate it, both sent through on social media and those who came up to me at the game yesterday. You guys really made my day really special, and I was fortunate enough to share the day with about 25 of my closest friends who all came to the game, and I said that's all I wanted for my birthday was to share it with all of them. So
an exclusive box as well at Marvel, but that's fine.
Not quite. Not quite. But yeah, to celebrate with them and then obviously to catch up with you and the Closer to a Flag boys after the game and sort of celebrate was, it was big celebration. So very, very fortunate, feeling very full of love. And after the game yesterday, the final siren obviously went and all the players, they go around and see the fans after the game. And I went down to the front with my dad and there was one person I was screaming at to come over.
I wonder who it could
be. To come over our way. And lo and behold, there comes approaching my dad and I, a knight in shining armour in Aiden Corr. He came over and he gave a football to a kid, like a few people over from us. And then he came over and he gave me a big hug and wished me a happy birthday. So it was the best. It was just like, I didn't think that day could get any better.
What a moment.
And then, Aiden Corr just, on the finals, after the final siren, just icing on the cake.
Well, look, there's so much celebration to be had. Thank you to everyone who sent the birthday wishes in for Marnie on Instagram as well. What a day it was. Ending up, you know what the best thing was? When we left the ground and we were going to go for a drink somewhere, and we've walked out and we're walking to the Imperial. The amount of people that saw we had North stuff on and just got around us.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Was good.
It was great.
I think we sung joining the chorus on the walk as well. People got around it.
A few kangas.
Yeah, there was kangas.
Yep.
Yeah. And the Imperial was a fun time. You know, people were still coming up to me at the thing because I had my scarf and my jersey on. They're like, North Ball's real, mate.
You hate North Ball.
No,
You're the worst person to say that to.
North Ball needed to adapt, and we adapted North Ball. We North Ball like 30% of the time now, and that's the right percentage.
We unleash North Ball when we need.
Anyway, so we beat the Gold Coast, absolutely smashed the Gold Coast. I tipped us by 3, Marnie.
You did. You are the Oracle. We won by 4, but
but I'd say that's a pretty good,
pretty close.
Pretty close.
I said 5 goals, so
Yeah.
I would have been happy.
But you're
going to
say 5 goals next week as well,
probably.
But I think what a tip by me.
It was a great tip. You are the tipping guy.
I'm so bad at tipping.
Yeah, I know, but you've actually got one pretty right there.
I know. how'd you like the game? Tell me what it was like in the stadium. Tell me the atmosphere, and then we'll talk about the game.
A disclaimer: this is not going to be an overly analytical performance by myself. Josh is carrying this one for us. I was very much riding the highs and lows of the emotion of the game, and just sort of getting into it.
And the beverages.
From that, yep, and a few vinos as well. So I'll probably be giving you more of an emotional viewpoint today rather than analytical. Josh has got that covered. We sat in general admission yesterday and it was such a vibe. There were 17,000 people there, which is a pretty good turnout for a North Suns game. In the past, we haven't really been able to get over 15.
Oh, loud too.
So loud. Like that Paul Curtis goal at the end, and then when he took that mark. Like I watched the KO mini this morning, like the replay, and the roar was ferocious. It's like what we said about the Melbourne game a couple of weeks ago. I mean, we were the 19th man and we rode that game right to the end, and I think we did the same yesterday. Unbelievable vibes. Thank you to everyone as well who indulged me with my kanga. Someone messaged me saying they heard me from level 2. So
wow,
yeah. So
that's big.
That's the level I was on yesterday.
Yeah. So we're like, I was in 29 with everybody, and Marnie's bay was like literally directly opposite us,
yeah.
Right? And I was trying to look out for you in there, Marnie, and I think the bay was getting up and about. So look, 29 brings the energy. We know that. Yeah. Toby Pink chant was going wild when he kicked that goal. Yeah. I did put out some footage of the Toby Pink chant on the podcast page, tagged Toby Pink, and he messaged me after the game.
What a guy.
So Toby Pink's now my favourite player. I'm like Marnie, so I get one bit of attention from the player and I just get obsessed. What a time it was. It's such a strange thing because I got nervous in the second half, of course, because we're North Melbourne fans and we're scarred.
Yeah, obviously.
But we controlled that game kind of from start to finish. I know there was runs and, they got ahead twice in the game.
Yeah.
We were ahead for nearly 100 minutes of that game.
Yeah.
And
we never really lost our cool. It was quite a mature performance, I thought. It's probably one of the most mature performances we've put out for a very, very long time.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're right. I also didn't really panic. And I don't know if that was the alcohol or if that was just the fact that we were really in control the whole time.
I was panicking in the second half.
But it just sort of seemed like, we knew what we were doing as well. It's a really weird comment to make.
Mature is a good way to say it, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it was mature. We just seemed to kind of never really lose our cool. I mean, obviously skills have been an issue for us, and sitting, now 17th on the ladder, but sitting at the bottom end of the ladder for quite a few years, you would expect that, the skills maybe aren't up to scratch most of the time. And we've come on this show and we've spoken about that, quite a number of times this year and last year as well. But I just kind of felt like we weren't really like making silly mistakes, and we weren't really it didn't really feel like we were cracking under pressure. Just kind of, we felt quite composed and quite calm, and it just kind of felt like everyone was sort of body on the line in that game. And there's moments from quite a few players where they really just, body on the line sort of stuff. They were really committed, really dedicated to the cause, and it kind of felt like everyone, again, pulled their weight, and we've come away with another 4 points.
Here we come, and this tastes like promotion meme is going around so much, and it's my favorite thing. We're off the bottom of the ladder. It feels pretty sweet, Marnie.
Pretty crazy.
I can get used to this winning thing.
Yeah.
Sucks we got the Swans in Sydney next week, but it's fine because then after, I think we got Kallan.
We do have Carlton the week after.
But then West Coast and Richmond back to back. So that'll be very exciting. We're going to get into the game now.
Let's do it.
But I have one thing, Marnie. I got a surprise for you.
You have a surprise?
I have a surprise for you.
Oh, no, you really?
Okay. No, I haven't told Marnie about this, guys.
Oh, no. You don't keep anything from me.
Oh, well, apparently not.
Oh, no.
No, I can't be trusted.
What?
I have a birthday present for you, Marnie.
You have a birthday present for me?
I have a birthday present. Excuse the Christmas wrapping. It's all I had in the cupboard. I have a birthday present for you. Now, please, can you open it on the podcast and share it with everybody?
Oh, my God. Josh.
Yes. It's from me and Daniela.
Oh, hold on. Okay.
I'll hold this up here so we can.
Okay. Why did you get me something?
It's your birthday, man. What do you want me to do?
You shouldn't have got me anything. It's so not necessary.
Tear that paper off. This is exciting stuff, guys. Get on YouTube because seriously, you need to see this.
Oh my God. Okay.
Talking to the microphone too.
Okay. What is this? Is this a Doona cover?
This is a vintage North Melbourne Doona cover.
Oh my God. This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I can can go to sleep every night with North.
Now I don't know what decade this is from.
This is unbelievable.
It's very old. It's very, very old school.
Okay, let me try and like show everyone like who's watching on YouTube. Like,
do you want to like stand up and hold it up?
Hold on, let's.
I'll commentate this. Here we go. This is great podcasting.
Oh, Josh, that's unreal.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Talking to
this is unbelievable. Oh, hold on.
All right. So Marnie's holding it up now. There we go. This
is definitely like the 90s.
Yeah, it has to be 90s, right? Oh, yeah, it's got the old logo on it. Yeah, so I'm assuming 90s North Melbourne Doona cover for Marnie's birthday.
That's so naughty.
Marnie likes it. Take the mic so people can hear what you say.
You're so naughty. I can't believe you kept that from me.
I did keep it from you.
Give me a hug.
Oh.
Thanks, Josh.
No worries. You deserve it, Marnie. This is happy birthday.
That's so sweet.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah.
How exciting.
It's very exciting.
I can't wait. I'm going to put that on my desk.
We were at like a it's called Hunting Antiques in Bayswater.
Okay.
But it's like a vintage shop.
Yeah.
And we were walking through and they've got a bunch of like vintage like NFL stuff or like shirts and whatever. Yeah. And I've seen this box on the ground and it's got Doona covers in it. And the top one I saw blue and white on it. And I was like, hold up a minute. And we got it and I was like, that's Marnie's birthday present.
Oh my God, you're hilarious. Thanks, Josh.
No worries.
And Daniela, that's so sweet.
Absolutely.
Oh. All right. Oh, so sweet.
So hopefully that was good to listen to, guys. If you listened to that and didn't watch it on YouTube, I apologise.
You have to go to YouTube to see the clip.
We hit 1,000 on the gram as well.
I did see that.
We hit 1,000
yes,
on the
I saw
gram.
that during the week. Thank you guys so much.
We're a legit podcast now. You know,
we're massive.
We're in the big leagues.
We are well and truly massive. Yeah. I reckon North winning's probably helping us in that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And YouTube, you're next. So if you want to see Marnie's reaction to that and see the Doona cover, you got to go on YouTube and you got to subscribe, please, because it is nice.
Please do. It helps us out. All right, let's get into the game.
Let's talk about the game. So hot start. Yes. I think we kicked the first 3 and the Suns kicked the next 5.
Yes.
The tail of the first half, to lump it in together a little bit, was we came out pretty hot in the first half of each quarter.
Yeah, we did.
And then we sort of faded away.
Yes, we did.
It was terrifying because like it's crazy how quickly like the momentum can shift in a quarter like that. And
I know momentum's not it's not a tangible thing, but you can well and truly feel it.
Oh yeah.
And there's
100%.
Swings and roundabouts in the game, and we always you always hear about the momentum shifting and this and that, but it's a real thing. Like it is 100% a thing.
Oh yeah.
And especially like we came out so hot in that first quarter, and it really even like. We obviously we scored 3 goals, but it was also just like we were moving the ball quickly into the into our forward line, and we were creating opportunities and we were creating a lot of buzz and a lot of movement. Yeah. It wasn't necessarily translating all the time, but it just felt like we actually dominated. Yeah. Particularly out of the middle of the ground.
Yeah, I agree. It was really interesting looking at the stats. What's the clearance stats? 45 to 29 clearances for the game. We won. I would have thought that we won the stoppages. I think it was in the middle of the ground. Mm-hmm. I think we won clearance, but not like around the ground. And I would have thought it would have been the opposite. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel like the Suns dominated the contested ball around the ground. Yeah. But we really, really didn't. I think I've got the uncontested. The contested disposals were fairly even. Yep. Uncontested disposal 236 to 186. Yeah. We smashed them with uncontested possession. Yeah. And it's this uncontested sort of controlled game that we're playing now that I do really, really like. Yeah. But we dominated the clearances, but I just didn't think we were so dominant around the ground. I feel like the Suns were really dominating around the ground, and the stats didn't show that. I feel like maybe when they just broke so quick. Like ours maybe weren't quite as clean as the Suns. But I mean, Phillips did the tagging job on Rowell, and it sort of limited their grunt work to get it out to your Andersons and that sort of stuff to have the run.
I think with this uncontested possession game, I think it's so important for North to be able to, and while I obviously love North ball, I do agree with you that I think having that uncontested possession, that sort of kick mark game is really important for us because we really just need to get our hands on the footy and we really need to control it. Yeah. Because I think the more we do that and the more we actually just feel the ball and then we can sort of play the game on our own terms, that's the best way for us to improve because the more we can maintain possession, the more we can implement our own style of play. And clearly it's worked again. And I just, we're obviously we never really got a massive lead. We kind of got a few goals up, at a couple stages during the game, but we never really got a massive lead. And I think we are, unfortunately, part of that's going to be a mental thing for us that we're going to have to get over when we do start winning more games. And we saw it against West Coast, we saw it against Collingwood and Melbourne, and then yesterday again against the Suns. So the more we can sort of bring the game on our own terms for as long as possible, if we do feel like, that we are at the bottom of the ladder, so it is
not anymore, Marnie.
Well, in the lower bottom few sides of the ladder, so it is inevitable that we are going to be able to let sides challenge us and come back into the game at points. So for us to be able to have the ball and control the game as much as possible and make the most of it while we can, so that we know what we need to do when we're challenged. And I think yesterday we were able to obviously stand up and we controlled the game, as soon as...
We've got good ball users though. Like I know it never felt like it, but it's because we're under so much pressure all the time. Like looking at the stats, I think just over half the team had above 80% disposal efficiency.
Unreal.
Yesterday, which is great because we're not used to seeing anything like that.
Yeah.
And seeing like Tom Powell as an example, spoiler alert, 22 touches, 100% disposal.
That's big from him because his disposal has been a bit hit and miss the last
and he hasn't been
6
finding
to
the
8
footy
weeks.
as much as well. So to find it that much and be that good at disposal, that sort of sets the tone, doesn't it? Like everyone's disposal efficiency was up in that game. We had 4 or 5 players with 100% disposal efficiency, even though one of them was Curtis Taylor, had 2 touches. But it's still a really good thing to see.
One of those touches from Curtis Taylor though was to set up Paul Curtis's final goal.
And that's it. Curtis to Curtis.
Curtis.
The Curtis connection. Wow, we're going to be seeing that from years to come because we know Curtis Taylor has superstar potential. I think it's playing into maybe the strengths of some of the individual players better who we can unlock a little bit more. Like,
for sure.
And Dylan Stevens got subbed off yesterday. I thought his first quarter was really good. Second quarter was decent, and then he faded.
Yeah.
And then to bring like a Curtis Taylor on, more of an impact player. I think that's like a better sub to have as some, because you never know, Curtis Taylor could take a hanger and kick a goal and you just don't know, and that sort of stuff. But, that being said, I know that Dylan Stevens maybe wasn't at his best yesterday or was one of the better players on the ground, but still, he didn't do anything wrong. And when he got the ball, it's still decent disposal. And that's like across the board.
I think everyone played their role yesterday.
That's kind of what I'm trying to say. I'm not specifically talking about Dylan Stevens, but my point more is Dylan Stevens doesn't look as bad as he did before because we're playing a game that's more controlled. I think it's Curtis Taylor as well. Curtis Taylor looks better now because we're not just bombing the ball long all the time and we're controlling the ball more.
Yeah.
And that's across the board. That's why Darcy Tucker looks better now because we're actually controlling the ball. Marnie, don't smile like that. You like the most rogue players. So
fits my personality.
You're totally right. So I don't know. I think we've found a really good balance in shifting game styles since the bye, and I really, really like it. The one thing we still can't seem to stop though is the transition through the middle and the corridor. Yeah. As soon as that ball is in the corridor and we're one man down, we are incredibly vulnerable. And I know it's probably the most vulnerable place to be in the AFL across the board, but it nearly always ends in a goal for us. So if
or
we
a
can
scoring opportunity at least.
So if we can tie that up.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think it will be.
And I think that will come like as well with fitness. I think fitness has been a big thing for us across the board this year. We look like we just can't run out games. And I look, obviously the last 4 weeks have been incredible, and post-bye North is completely different to what we saw before the bye. But I think with fitness it will come as well.
Oh, 100%. It's like the Collingwood game, and I've said this heaps. Like if George Wardlaw is 25 years old, 23, 22, he does what he did in the first half the whole game, and we win. Yeah. And it's as simple as that. Yeah. Like we're going to talk so much about Colby McKercher. Don't worry about that. But like you can see when you've got a tank, what you can do all game. And he's naturally like that. I don't expect everyone to be able to do that at that level. And not everyone's got the cardiovascular system of a Colby McKercher. But it's all progression. And it's funny, like you go back 2 months ago and we're all getting upset at Clarkson for saying the same thing in the press conferences. He's right.
He is right.
And I feel, I'm not bragging, I feel like I backed him the whole time. I'm like, it is a process. I think people want like instant gratification now. And we look back at things 2 months ago, people were saying, Clarkson, is he good enough anymore? Has he got it? Has he got the ability to coach? He'd coached like 15 games for us at that time. And what a surprise. You're getting all these guys. Sheezel just plays 40th game or something.
Yeah, something like that.
So it's like, give them 50 games together and we're going to be a scary, scary team.
It doesn't even need to be 15 games. Like we spoke about this at the start of the year and we've spoken about this a lot before the bye. And it's that you've got so many guys who are new recruits, either through the draft or through or we've traded them in, right? So you've got a bunch of new faces and then you've got to try and let the new faces gel with the old faces.
After getting rid of all that experience and talent as well.
Exactly. So it's inevitable that these things are going to take time. And obviously we've tried a few different things. We've tried a different forward structure. We've tried a different backline structure. We've, sorted ourselves out in the midfield as well. And we've sort of said like towards the end of the first half of the year, it kind of looked like the team was the most balanced that it had kind of looked across the board.
Yeah.
And then we've come out now and I've said this to you every single week pretty much. And I've been so so stuck on this, is that I would avoid making any changes to the side unnecessarily. The team looks balanced. Everyone's kind of playing in sync. Everyone's been playing their role. And some players don't need to have as big of an impact as other players. And the proof's in the pudding now. We've made very minimal changes across the board.
And we're getting consistency.
We've only made changes if they've been forced changes or if someone's come back from injury or, something like that. And it's interesting now because you look ahead now to next week against the Swans and it's like, well, you've got Zach Fisher. I don't know how severe his injury is. Like, where does he come back into the team? And you've got George Wardlaw, who you would assume would be a startup, but who do you take out? It's and this is the problem that we want to have.
100%. I think you definitely I think you make tough calls to get those guys back in. I think they warrant that.
100%.
But I agree with you. It does feel a bit bad to drop. I don't even want to name names now, but I guess you're looking at maybe Curtis Taylor, Dylan Stevens, Toby Pink as well. They're probably the three maybe. I think they all did their role and did bits in the game that were good. Maybe didn't impact it heaps. Toby Pink's goal was outstanding. We'll talk about that. But I'm just trying to pick players that maybe didn't, out of a great group of players, they maybe were at the lower end of the scale yesterday, even if they did play their role. So, it's a great problem to have. Griffin Logue, I mean, geez.
They're not going to rush him back anyway.
I wouldn't expect. I said to the people in the Bay, because people in the Bay were like, oh my God, imagine when Logue comes back. I'm like, you can't drop Corr at the moment. You can't drop Dawson. You can't drop Chom.
No.
And moving Chom forward,
I think that's something they'll try, but that's something that we'll have to approach.
He's just too good. Like I agreed with that a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
We're getting, I'm not saying he should be in contention for All Australian, but that people are starting to talk about Charlie Comben and comparing his numbers to Mackay through the week and all that sort of stuff because he's unreal.
Yeah,
he's
been amazing.
He's been one of the better defenders in the league this year.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's top 5 or anything like that.
No, he's been incredible.
He's been fantastic. And if he's playing that well, once again, we're talking about a consistent, balanced side. I just don't think you can move him. But let's go to third, fourth quarter. It was pretty even in the third, and then they made that run in the fourth. So how are you feeling? Because obviously, from my PTSD as a North fan, I wasn't feeling great when they were making their run. We always knew it would come because we know this is why I tipped us by 3 because I knew we wouldn't win a game comfortably.
Yeah,
and we're not at that point yet, and we will be one day, but that's not where we're at. When they made their run and got really, really close, I was absolutely bricking it.
I was just like, here we go again.
So, I think everyone, you could tell everybody was like
it was very, very edge on seat. So I couldn't talk. And it was about 4 minutes to go in the game. And I was sitting with my friends and then I actually moved seats and went and sat up next to my dad. And we were just literally arm in arm for the last 4 minutes of the game. It was just, it is very much a roller coaster supporting North Melbourne. Oh. Any football fan, obviously. But I couldn't speak. It was just like, oh.
Yeah.
And but then they missed that goal. So Will Powell kicks the goal and gets them within 5 points. And then I don't know who missed the goal, who missed the shot on goal not long after that. But as soon as he missed that goal and there was 4 points, I thought we've probably got this. And I just thought we've really just got to hold our nerve here. And that is exactly what we did.
I thought our ability to create a contest and make it scrappy was the mature part of it for 100%. Me at the end and not just allow transition. Yeah. Especially when we got it, we'll talk about it again, but Sheezel with that little interception.
Yeah, that was incredible.
To LDU and then he turned it over.
Smart.
But, we were able to create contests in the middle of the ground. The Suns had to go through the corridor. Larkey helped bring it to ground. I think Mac Andrews was there and their ruckman. And just being able to scrap and fight, because there was a couple of chances where the Suns had a little out there and we just kept fighting, holding it in.
It's the little things that make a massive difference, and it's the little things that are going to count, and that is the difference between us, between a good side and a great side. And I'm not saying that we are a great side, but we're starting to show traits that we will be a great side in years to come. And I think little things like that make the big difference.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that spoil from Sheezel.
Oh.
I mean, that is like he is.
It's the same as the toe poke last year against Freo. Like it's
wise
just
beyond his years.
The IQ on the bloke.
Yeah.
If this was NBA 2K, his IQ's 100 overall.
And that is just something that is, I mean, that's not something you can teach. That's
he's
just
19 as well. Imagine when he's when he's in his mid-20s.
Yeah, and he's committed to North, you know. I mean, it's just incredible. It's so amazing the way that the tide has turned here. And I don't want to jump the gun, but I reckon that, you know, the way the players were celebrating last night after the game, it wouldn't surprise me if there was a couple of bits of contract news that came out this week.
Well, we did post at half time that Toby Pink signed a 5-year deal at half time after that goal. So, and someone did comment and say, "Is this real?" I'm like, "No, it's banter. Please, come on."
We're manifesting.
And then siren goes. We hold it up. I mean, Paul Curtis took the mark and. Out of a scrappy bit of play. I can't remember who kicked it.
Yeah.
But took the mark on the siren and the siren goes and it was pandemonium. We saw the reaction from me.
You honestly thought there was 50,000 people.
Yeah.
In that.
Yeah. People can discredit the numbers all they want of crowd attendances for North, but you can't discredit the passion and the noise we make. Yep. I mean, if you put 100,000 Demons fans in that stadium, it would have been quieter. I'm telling you, because we are huge.
We're the biggest club in the league.
We're the biggest club in the league. And we won a game. And it was fun. And we are now promoted to 17th on the ladder.
We are.
West Coast, you're next. We're coming for you.
We're coming after
I thought West Coast were the next generation of amazing, incredible football. Turns out they've actually only won 3 games.
Okay, pipe down. It's too soon. He gets 1 win in 6 years and this is how he carries on.
Coming from you, Marnie. Like, you're the most deluded person I've ever seen. All right.
Let's go.
What I think we're going to do here, we got so many voice messages. We're going to throw to voice messages now, then we'll come back and talk about defence, forward, mids and that sort of stuff.
Thank you, everyone who sent in their voice memos. We play them every single week on the show. Don't forget to send them all in after each game. furthernorthpod@gmail.com.au. Oh, no, .com.
.com, not
wow.
.au.
Oh, okay. I'm losing
Marnie,
touch in my old age. furthernorthpod@gmail.com. We'll see you on the other side of these.
Enjoy the voice messages.
I hereby declare that Marnie Cohen's birthday shall be every week for the rest of the football season. Josh, Marnie, I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did at home. It would have been amazing to be there. Felt sick for 2 minutes going in there. Ainsworth with the ball. But such good. Sheezel. Oh, I'm just going to have a pack of Sheezels. Yum, Gurus!
Hey Josh, hey Marnie. At the game today, sitting next to the great Phil Cracker, finally get to see us win live. Kanga, everyone. Roo.
G'day Josh, g'day Marnie. How good's a North Melbourne win? Love seeing Marnie firing up everyone down on level 1 as well with the Kanga chants. Up the bloody boys.
G'day Marnie and Josh, it's Bixie the Rescue Cat here. Happy birthday Marnie, you don't look a day over 25. I've only got 2 words for you guys today. Powell's Torp. That's it, that's all I've got.
Sing it one and all. The Suns melted under our pressure. McKercher's Usain bolting down the forward line. Tom Powell's long bomb. Kallan Dawson's first goal. Sheezel, LDU and the crew. Go Roos, the future is looking bright.
Hello, Further North fans. I'm in Italy at the moment. I watched the game, woke up at 5:45 to watch it. So impressed by the boys. This win was coming and I don't regret waking up and cooking my sleep schedule. But you know what? Anything for this club. Go Roos.
Cherry. Cherry learning how to sell some candy from Aiden Corr's candy shop. Oh my God, Colby McKercher. What a win.
Josh, mate, congrats on seeing a win in the flesh. Marnes, happy birthday. Some core candy for you on your birthday. A bit of Xerri candy there as well. Anyway, West Coast, Gold Coast, we are officially the Coast Killers in the league. Unbelievable scenes. How was McKercher down the wing? Oh, I got goosebumps. We are on the up here. Unbelievable.
We didn't miss out on Harley Reid. West Coast missed out on McKercher. And forgive me, Sherry, for ever doubting you. I love you.
What a fucking win! Marnie goes Hollywood. Too good for Bay 29. Who would have imagined? Happy birthday, though. Colby McKercher. What the fuck? 37 disposals on return. Sheezel, I love you.
Unreal voice messages. There will be more to come. We have so many. If yours wasn't in the first section, there'll be
coming.
more. So keep listening. We're playing every single one of them because we're all celebrating together here at the Further North podcast.
It's a party today on Further North.
Well, it's always a party on Further North, but it's even more of a party right now because we won a game, Marnie. And this winning thing is pretty sweet.
I could get used to this.
Oh, yeah, I could get used to it. Okay, do you want to start with defence or forward?
Defence. So I can talk about Aiden Corr.
Well, I've got a note here saying Corr the Kingslaying Candyman.
Oh.
Now, I don't know.
Wow.
Well, there's nothing in that statement that's inaccurate.
No. The only thing that's missing is he's the best player of all time.
Okay, well, let's... all right, no. Just talk about Aiden Corr so we can get through that.
Oh, my God, he was so
very
good yesterday.
Really
he's, he's conquered
a good
Max
bounce back
King.
as well.
He's conquered Max King and now he's conquered Ben King as well.
Yeah.
Ben King just had the one goal. He... again, another outstanding performance from Aiden Corr. He had King well covered and he sold a little bit more candy as well.
It's a week-by-week thing.
It's so great.
At this point.
I can't wait to see his highlight reel at the end of the season.
At the end of his career, I'm going to watch this bloke's highlight reel, share it to someone who's never watched football, and they're going to be like, is that the GOAT?
Is that the reincarnation of God?
God? Okay.
I've gone.
She's gone. Yeah, Marnie's not doing well today, guys. So please, no, he was very, very good. We know my Aiden Corr opinion is the defining one here because I've had my beef with Mr. Corr, but I'm more. Marnie made me yell. Aiden Corr played well. As loud as I could at the rooftop of the Imperial last night. I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
Yeah.
I would never, I'm never going to forget. I
that's
actually
true.
should have filmed it.
Yeah.
I'm never going to forget that
She's
moment.
like, what did you say? And I'm like, I've said this like nearly every week since the bye except for last week. Anyway, Aiden Corr was very, very, very good. Did his job on King. One goal from King. Good spoils, good disposal by foot.
Yep,
but sort of leading the back line a little bit as well.
Yeah, I think what I love about Aiden Corr is, he's obviously, he's in the leadership group and he obviously Luke McDonald's down there as well, but he has become, I think he's really like relishing in that leadership role. There's so many times where he's the one barking instructions to the rest of the defense. He's telling them how to instructing and how to structure themselves, and I can't speak today.
How to set themselves
How
up.
to set themselves up, exactly. Thank you. And he's really been really influential down there, and clearly it's working, and clearly they respect him because it's all working for him. I think he's had a really, really great second half of the year. Pretty much since that St Kilda game, I think he hasn't really put a foot wrong. While last week he made probably a few really silly mistakes. He wasn't bad. It's just like real white line fever, and like he's really, if he can just tighten that up in his game, because he played well last week. He just gave away some silly free kicks, and that probably overshadowed what he did right last week.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And I think people always look for things with him because we're so used to him being poor, and we sort of just expect him to come out and we're like, we're waiting for him to put a foot wrong. But I personally don't think that's him. I just think that we've just got to actually look at his game overall, and like I personally don't think he's really put too many feet wrong since that St Kilda game.
I think I agree with you. I think the thing with Aiden Corr is when you've got players like that, and you can look back for every team and in history for North, the players that haven't been very good at all, then Aiden Corr now has a bad game amongst his good ones, where before it was a good one amongst his bad ones.
Yeah.
And look, for a player of his experience, the first 2.5 years of the club, I think it's fair to have a slightly negative opinion of him. Yeah. But credit to him for turning it around and being consistent.
Yeah.
Once again, like last year, the first 3/4 of his season was really bad, and then the last couple of months was really, really good. Yeah. Came back this year, didn't look good again, and I'm like, geez, what standard Aiden Corr? But then you're right. Since the St Kilda game, I think the whole club's been a lot better.
Yeah.
But he has been very, very dependable,
very instrumental.
Very, very solid.
Yeah.
His partner in crime, Charlie Comben, had a very indifferent game yesterday. Second half was very good from Charlie, but he basically Sam Day was nearly announced to the world at 31 years of age for the Gold Coast Suns. He took 6 contested marks, Sam Day.
Yeah,
and he could have kicked 5.
Sam Day is a good player, though. I don't think it's really a breakout game necessarily. I think that one of the things that we get really that can get lost is being up on the Gold Coast. Maybe we don't pay as much attention to them. But I mean, Sam Day has been a really reliable player for the Suns for the most part of the year. So his performance didn't necessarily surprise me.
He only kicked like 6 goals for the year, though.
Just having an influence, I think, as well. But I think that the way that, again, and this is the maturity thing we were speaking about in terms of if we want to label that performance, for Charlie to be able to come out in the second half and just completely take ownership once again.
This is the thing I said at halftime about Chom in the Bay. I had a friend of mine message me and say, "What's Chom doing? Blah, blah, blah." I'm like, he'll be better in the second half. And I fully trusted he would come out and be much better, and he was. What's the 12 intercepts he had, and he had a bunch of, I think it's maybe 7 rebound 50s and 9 marks all up.
So it's another
which was a very, very solid day.
performance.
Took some really crucial intercept marks late in the game as well. I don't know. Once again, mature from him to really get done pretty comprehensively in the first half and come back and be instrumental in the win.
Yeah. 100%. And the third tall down there, this is someone I want to talk about a little bit, is Kallan Dawson.
The Nathan Grimer reincarnation.
That was an outstanding goal. That was very special.
He leathered that thing. Is Kallan Dawson the guy who goes forward when Griffin Logue comes back?
Oh, who knows?
Watch out.
Anything can happen. Look, I think we've criticised the club in the past, the mid-season draft. We have definitely got a few picks wrong. I mean, Lockie Hosey never became anything. Jacob Edwards never became any.
Hosey.
I would never forget about Lockie Hosey.
Oh, how could you not?
Jacob Edwards, and we don't really know what the go is with Hanson Jr., but comfortably can say that Kallan Dawson and Brent Teakle as well.
Don't worry, I've got a whole segment about Brent Teakle.
And he's your guy, so I'll let you do that. But I think that both of them have been incredible additions to our side. And I think that now, I mean, Kallan Dawson, Brent Teakle's a bit older, so it's probably a little bit different to when Kallan Dawson came to the club. But Kallan Dawson,
that was similar. Kallan Dawson's what, 26, 27?
Is he?
I think so.
Okay, interesting. I thought he was younger.
No, I thought that too, but then someone told me he's like mid-20s.
Okay, interesting.
I feel like he was 24, 25.
He hadn't been on an AFL list before, I guess, so maybe he hadn't quite had that sort of experience. But, he's got a couple pre-seasons under him now, and he's only played like 15 or 16 games, yet he's become such an important part of that backline and that 100%. Backline, that defensive trio. So full credit to him for owning the moment up forward, but another really solid performance down back as well.
Yeah, always brings things to ground. I think this is the thing with Chom that I found is like, Chom does seem very Ben Mackay in the way of, except a better version, in the way of like maybe one-on-one he needs to improve.
Yeah.
I think getting bullied by Sam Day is, I'm not discrediting Sam Day, but he's not Kerno or anything like that, you know what I mean? So it's like, if Chom can be like stronger in the contest, you could see how angry he was. He threw his mouth guard on the ground.
Yeah.
But that's what you want because he's passionate and he cares. And once again, he's going to go to training and be like, all right, biggest bloke of the club, come here and let me try and, spoil the ball and not get ragdolled a little bit. So, Chom will come back and be better and he'll be one of the All-Australian defenders for years to come. We know that already. 100%. That's a lock. But, Kallan Dawson doesn't seem to get maybe pushed around like that as much. He always brings the ball to ground.
Yeah.
And he's just really reliable. And I think he's going to be one of those guys we look back on, hopefully one of those guys we look back on, and he plays 100 of the most, not bad game, but the most like, he played 100 games. He was just like reliable, like the Sam Gibson of a defender.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I don't think he's never going to be our second
He's never
going to
be a
superstar.
Like that. No.
But if he could pan out a 100-game career for himself, if he wants to.
I want to talk about Luke McDonald.
I would also like to talk about Luke McDonald.
That's one of the best performances I've ever seen from him.
The Luke McDonald criticism that still goes around is wild. And yes, maybe once or twice a game he does something that he shouldn't. But, geez, he
was
does
so important
much,
yesterday.
Like so much other stuff that he does that needs to be talked about. I don't know. I think this guy's had such a good year, like a solid year. I'm not saying it's outstanding or anything, but a halfback flank is not going to be outstanding, or like a back pocket guy is not going to be outstanding. He does what he needs to do, and he does it well, and he's getting results. Look how this back line has stayed together through the times at the start of the year. Yeah. We've got to credit him with that, along with others. But he's the captain.
One thing I always come back to with Luke McDonald, and we spoke about it at the time, was after the Adelaide game when he came out and fronted North Media, and he basically put his hand up and said that this is not good enough and we need better leadership. And full credit to him. He's absolutely walked the walk. Yep. And yesterday, I think he's had a few very, very solid performances since that game in Tasmania. But yesterday for me was not just I think it was his best performance for the year, but it was one of the best Luke McDonald performances I've seen for a very, 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 very long time.
Yeah, the Suns were making a run. I think it was in the third, perhaps. I can't exactly remember. But he smothered a ball out of nowhere when they had an open snap in front of goal.
Yeah.
When they were pushing, they'd kicked a couple in a row, and he smothers the ball, and it almost killed their momentum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's those 1%. If Jackson Archer did that, everyone would be screaming about it. Yeah. And I want people to scream about Luke McDonald doing it too. It doesn't matter who Darcy Tucker does it. We need to praise it too. You know what I mean?
You don't need to be and you don't need to be a good or a talented player or a superstar to actually throw yourself at the ball that way and throw yourself into the play. And that is something, and I sound like a broken record because when I talk about Darcy Tucker, I love how he just throws himself at every contest and he's really fearless. Luke McDonald is the same. Yeah. You know you're gonna get 100% commitment every single time, and that is passion, and that is care, and that is something that for a really long time we've sort of been on the fence about. Like, I don't want to rock up and care and question if the players care or question how if it matters to them, because this proves that it does.
100%. 7 intercepts as well for him,
which is great.
So, he's up. He was the second highest intercept player for us on the ground. Yeah. So, he deserves the respect, and I think it's time we stop bashing Luke McDonald.
I agree.
Please stop. His partner in crime, Jackson Archer. Lukosius didn't do heaps. Did a couple of things.
Yeah.
But not the influence that we've seen him have, especially like the week before against the Pies, or what we know he can do.
Jackson Archer always makes his presence felt. I think he's very physically imposing, despite the fact that he probably is a smaller frame and he's still got...
It's that Archer blood.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't... That's something is in his blood. You can't buy it. I just think that, again, fearlessness is something that comes to mind with him, but he's smart. He's a smart footballer.
He's learning how to put himself in a position to beat his opponent as well. I remember maybe like a month ago or previous that he would always overrun the ball or overcommit to the tackle. Yep. And I maybe haven't seen him doing that as much recently. Yep. It just shows, especially when there's confidence going through the team, that these players can like maybe self-analyze a little bit more and take it on board and they're confident enough to go and improve like Chom and all that sort of stuff we're talking about.
Definitely.
So, Jackson Archer was running off sort of belief and toughness, I think, at the start of his career and the start of this year.
Yeah.
And he seems to be a lot more dialed in of a player and learning how to play his role. And, Lukosius and Bailey Fritz and all that sort of stuff. I mean, Waitman, he limited when we've seen Waitman kick 6 or 7 against us before. He's making a real name for himself.
He is.
And he thank God he's locking down the players, because we know Luke McDonald is not his strength, but allowing Luke McDonald to roam around and maybe play a bit more of that Jack Siebel role that we were trying last year. Yeah. I think it's working and our backline is a lot more balanced.
And also just a shout out to Bailey Scott and Darcy Tucker.
Yeah.
Another very good performance from each of them. Very solid. Again, they play their role and they play it well to allow the guys like Sheezel and McKercher to do the superstar things that they both did yesterday.
Yeah.
And so just, again, that's all we need from them, and they were both excellent again yesterday.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. I guess nothing individually crazy to talk about with those two players. No. I mean, Scott got a lot of the ball in threatening positions.
Yeah.
Bailey Scott's a hard one for me because he's good, he's very good, but then there's a lot of blind kicking around the body from Bailey Scott with his clearance and stuff.
And that's something he needs to work on as we start to improve as a unit.
But he's a lot more dependable now. His disposal by foot a couple of months ago was atrocious, and he's, I don't get scared when he's kicking the ball anymore. So I don't get scared when the team is kicking the ball anymore, to be fair. But shout out to them. I know Scott's a midfielder, but I just thought I'd lump them together because I think they had pretty similar games. I think they were good, solid, dependable, linked up well, were in the right positions.
But that's good. That's actually what we need from them.
Yeah, exactly. Like if this was a few months ago, then they probably would have had 10 touches, 11, 12 touches and not impacted, but they still played their role. And the floor of these players is rising slowly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is like the thing I think with Aiden Corr. It's like he's flipped around that, his good games are more common now, and he has a bad game every now and then, and that's that floor of him being so bad in games has now been risen, and we expect more from him. Does that come with more criticism because we expect more? Yes, it does, but that's what you want.
100%.
Right? The midfield.
Where do we even start?
Do we want to start
God.
here?
Let's talk about Jai Simpkin because I actually thought that his game was instrumental.
I agree. Jai Simpkin is now, we've got, say LDU, McKercher, Sheezel, like Wardlaw when he's in there, they're taking the reins of this thing.
Yeah.
And Simpkin is mature and smart enough to go, I'm here to back all these guys up.
Yeah.
I'm going to do everything I can to make those guys better.
Yeah.
And he's playing to feed them now. His contested work, I know his contested stats maybe weren't as high as like a Sheezel. I was shocked with Sheezer's contested stats.
Yep.
So we'll talk about those in a second. Simpkin's intent at the bottom of a pack in this game led to the Suns spilling the ball, not getting clean disposal.
Yep.
His intent was fantastic today, and his pressure and intent allowed these other guys to start.
And I think it was very similar to last week. It was him early.
Yes.
And I think he really set the tone early and he really stood up and then everyone was able to sort of follow in his lead.
Yep.
And as a captain of the club, that's exactly what you want and that's exactly what he's there for. So I think he was excellent yesterday, like I said, especially early. And he really just led the rest of the midfield to a solid, all well-round performance.
Yeah, good on him for like staking a claim in this midfield too. Because at the start of the year, we're thinking, how does he fit in here? He's going to be off the half forward line, and obviously his first half of the year form was pretty bad off that line. Looking at you look at the contested, the centre bounce attendances last week, and there was 3 players who did basically all of them, and then there was no one else except for like maybe 5, 4, 3 here and there. The centre bounce attendance was so spread yesterday, and Simpkin is taking. He's always top 2 or 3 in centre bounce attendances now.
Yeah,
and I just love that you said at the start of the year that he's the captain. He needs to be right in the guts,
100%,
and he's been able to do that with how he's played since the bye.
Yeah,
but I also don't think. He's not trying to be the best midfielder there. He knows he's not as talented as LDU, as Sheez, as Wardlaw. He knows those guys are our future midfield. But if he can complement them and play his role, he will unlock those guys to be A graders instead of maybe being a B grader.
Well, it's the same thing with Scott and Tucker. It's, he knows what his role is and he plays his role and he allows the other guys around him to start. And he takes the pressure off an LDU or off a Harry Sheezel to be able to do the things that they need to do. And you need players like that. Not everybody can be the star. Yeah. And that's okay. Because at the end of the day, that's what a team sport is. They've all kind of got to play their role. And I think the more that we get continuity in the side and in the 23 that we're putting on the park each week, they know their role, they practice it, they can play it and they can execute it well. So well done to Simpkin, because I really thought that, in the last few weeks, and part of me feels like maybe he wasn't right in the first half of the year off the back of that knock with Jimmy Webster, and then he had a couple other issues injury-wise. So, he's really after the bye, and it's obviously the trend we've spoken about all second half of this season, but good on him because, I think he, as a captain of the club, he really deserves to be in there and to be enjoying this as much as the rest of them do.
Now, I can't wait any longer, Marnie.
Go.
Colby.
Oh, my God.
He's a special player. 6 weeks out of football, plus the bye, 7 weeks, nearly 2 months not playing football, and he comes back with 37 touches.
He was just about
and
our
one of the
best.
most Boomer Harvey reincarnated moments I've seen on a North Melbourne field. Him and the highlight that we posted, right, the North Melbourne posted, didn't even show the run initially when he received the handball back.
Yeah.
So he got that ball in the back pocket.
Yeah.
Was it Luke McDonald he kicked it to?
No, you're asking the wrong person
I don't
today.
know. I can't remember. Kicks the ball out.
Yeah.
The player takes the mark. He runs past, calls for it, demands it, and just goes. He ran more than 3/4 of that field at full pace.
Oh my God, it was so special.
And no one could take him.
No, and
Speechless.
Yeah. I'm speechless.
Speechless.
Doesn't happen
It was
often, but I'm
scintillating.
speechless.
But then to have the composure to do a little kick around the body right to Larkey in between 2 Suns.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maturity.
I understand the Harley Reid thing. And yes, we didn't get Harley Reid.
Yeah.
I don't care because of that guy. I do not care one bit because Colby McKercher is going to be a star.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear any more of this sort of stuff. People coming in the barbershop trying to banter me saying, we bet you wish you had Harley Reid. Colby McKercher's had more good games than Harley Reid's had this year.
Yeah.
I'm telling you he has.
And
Harley Reid's going to be a star. His highlights are incredible and he's going to win a Brownlow one day. I'm not debating that. Colby McKercher, I think his last 4 or 5 games, he's had over 30 touches.
Yeah.
and just the line breaking speed, the efficiency by foot.
Yeah.
And he's the biggest reason, along with Zach Fisher and Tucker, I'll shout him out. But he's the biggest reason why Sheezel is doing what he's doing right now.
Yeah.
Getting him off the halfback line.
And it's one of those things as well. Like, yes, and no one's denying that Harley Reid would have been a great addition to the side. But Colby McKercher's doing this alongside Sheezel and alongside even Chuck Wilfield in that same basket, because Wilfield was a top 3 pick as well. You've still got Dersman to come back. You've got Wardlaw who will come back next week. Like, these are all names who can contribute to a really solid future for us. You add LDU into that as well. Like, these players, they're all coming together. So, yes, you can have, sure, Harley Reid would be amazing and no one would ever knock back Harley Reid. But
people act like we got nothing for it though. And people don't go, oh, you missed out on Harley Reid, but you got Colby.
Got
Colby.
Colby.
I'm over that. I'm sick of it. This guy needs respect. He would have won the Rising Star if he didn't have those 2 months out.
Yeah,
he
I'd
would
agree with
He would be
that.
top for the Rising Star, I reckon.
I think so too.
And I'm over it. Colby McKercher, superstar. The streets know, but the AFL community, wake up. Because Colby McKercher is a superstar.
And Colby's allowed Sheez, as you mentioned, Josh, to push into the midfield and just do incredible Harry Sheezel things.
Let me give you some numbers.
That's what he
Marnie.
did yesterday.
Let me give you some numbers.
Hit me.
35 touches, 10 clearances, 1 goal, 14 contested possessions, and that huge intercept in the last 30 seconds.
Which isn't a stat, but that was almost the most important thing he did all day.
Harry Sheezel, Nick Dacos, get out of here, mate. No, I'm joking. Nick Dacos is a gun. Harry, we've got our own version of Nick Dacos, though. There's no closer player to Nick Dacos in the league than Harry Sheezel. And the numbers back it up. The type of play backs it up. The size, shape, and skill of him back it up. Everything does. We have a generational special player
Talent,
here. Along with a McKercher, along with a Wardlaw. We've got somebody here. And every game I go to, I'm just happy I get to watch Harry Sheezel play football because
pretty amazing.
I tell you the thing I loved about Harry Sheezel the most yesterday. We were scrappy when the Suns were making a run in that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
We started to get nervous. We started kicking the ball long. We started fumbling when we could have just picked the ball up, handball, we would have been out. We fumbled.
Yeah.
He was the one player that wasn't doing that, who set the standard, and then we rose to his standard.
Yeah.
We looked shaky and he went, get on my back, boys.
Yeah.
I'll take you to the promised land.
And that's incredible, I think, as well, just thinking about our future is it's not someone like, and we don't really have too many veterans in the side anymore, but, you know, that's come from a player that's 19 years old in his second season. That hasn't come from a Liam Shields. It hasn't come from a Jai Simpkin. It hasn't come from a Luke McDonald. And while all of these guys played their role yesterday and they were really important throughout the game, it's a Harry Sheezel and a Colby McKercher that are leading us forward. And that is just something that is so exciting for all North fans, because if we can, again, keep this group together, we'll be sweet.
We've already kept most of them together, to be fair.
Yeah. I don't know what mass exodus you're talking about.
Yeah, never heard of it. LDU?
Oh.
Pure class?
What more can you say about this man?
If he kicked that goal.
Oh, the house would have been brought down.
If he kicked that goal.
That house would have been brought down.
Marvel would have no lid.
Yeah, literally.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The guy does what he wants at times. Do you know what I mean? Like the amount of times he's in a contest, one step and he's shrugged, not even shrugged, but he's just stepped 2 guys and they're out of the contest.
Yeah.
The hips on the guy must be so strong, like scintillating stuff from LDU. I can't pick who I love more out of this midfield group right now, but he just did. His numbers maybe weren't as crazy as Sheezel's and McKercher's. But once again, when you've got 2 guys like that killing the game, he rose to them. He was just as good and also allowed them to do what he did. The contested work from LDU has been so much better recently.
Yeah.
Because I never saw him as much of a contested player.
But this is what I love about LDU, right? We came on this podcast and actually it's interesting because it was the last time we played the Suns. I think LDU had like 35, 36 touches at like 50% disposal efficiency. And while he had a better second half, you and I argued that night because I was like, I think LDU's been one of our best in the second half, and you said no, he's been absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, that's right.
Remember we had that discussion? Yeah. So the change in him and his game. And look, part of it is that I think for pretty much the first half of the year, LDU was carrying our midfield on his own. And there's only so much that he can do. But again, it's the structure and everyone's playing their role. And, you know, Wilfield's got his role and Sheezel's in the middle now. And, you know, he's playing his role and Tom Powell and Simpkin and yada, 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 yada. But for LDU, he doesn't need it's not about racking up 35, 40 touches every single week if you're going to do nothing with it. You look at someone like Patrick Cripps and he's had 2 or 3 games of 40 touches in a row and he's been best on ground every single week. That's not what LDU was doing. LDU was having big numbers gained but little impact.
Low impact, yeah.
And what is the point? Someone
100%.
who's clearly so talented and someone who is so capable of just taking the game and just completely making it his own don't need to have big numbers to have a massive impact. And yesterday was a great example of that.
And this is
that's what we want from him.
This is what Harry Sheez has been showing as well. Like since going, and the numbers obviously yesterday are halfback numbers for Harry Sheezel, but Harry Sheezel with 22 touches, 2 goals is much more impactful than 35 touches kicking out of fullback.
Exactly.
And LDU obviously doing the same thing where he had maybe 25 touches yesterday. I can't exactly remember. But he had, or maybe it was 30 or something. I'm going to look it up because I need to know. But his disposal.
30 touches.
30 touches, yes. Yeah, 30 touches, which is still amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But 30 impactful touches.
Yeah.
And when he's around that ball in the contest and things like that, 9 clearances for him as well.
Yeah.
Like, he's just such a threat all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's going to be, he's been really, really good at the contest and the ground ball work recently as well. If him stepping up and doing that while Wardlaw's not there as well. Imagine when Wardlaw's in this team. Imagine like 5 years time, Sheez, LDU and Wardlaw in our midfield.
Oh, it's something quite frightening.
I don't know if you smell it too, but I smell a premiership. So
I was smelling it basically the whole year, but that's my delusion speaking,
you said that
I think.
in David Noble year. Oh, God.
Tom Powell.
That
barrel to unleash Liam Shields.
Tom Powell barrel. I want a Tom Powell barrel every game.
I never thought I would see the day, and I just want to see more.
It looked off the boot to me. I knew he tried to torp it. Off the boot, I thought he shanked it, and then it sort of straightened a little bit in midair and just kept going.
But that's just such a clever move.
Yeah, seeing the space and seeing who's there to run onto it. I don't know. Look, that's one of those plays that if it went straight to a defender, you're an idiot, Tom Powell. Yeah. But because it worked out, it's good. But Clarkson said in his press conference about the barrel that he wants to let players play with their own individual flair.
Yeah.
And I think that's so...
It's important.
It's so important.
That allows them to thrive.
There's teams... Once again, I'm going to reference like Premier League and that sort of stuff here. Manchester City in the Premier League, right? And they're very good. They win everything. But their games are incredibly boring to watch because it's all very fundamental. Maybe England in the Euros right now is a better example of that. Gareth Southgate, their manager, does not let the play. They've got some of the best players on the planet playing for that team.
Yeah.
And all he wants them to do is play fundamental formation football. All right. He doesn't like them doing anything flair, doesn't want to take the players on, let them use the individual skills of these players.
Yeah.
And they're losing. It feels gross, and not even all the English people. Shout out to my friend Charles as well, who is now a devoted North Melbourne fan.
We love
that. He started saying "we" about North Melbourne yesterday.
That's how you know. That's how you know.
We know he's on board now. But he's talking to me about England on the train right in. He's like, we have such fun players who play for their clubs, and they don't do anything when they play at international level. I love that Clarkson said that because when you've got Sheezel doing those little like over the back handballs and all that sort of stuff, that's fun as well.
Yeah.
And Tom Powell's barrel is fun. Toby Pink's snap is fun.
Yeah.
Like you need to have fun of the football as well. If the players are having fun, they're going to play better as well. And I just love, imagine if we were like St Kilda. Like just going and watching the most boring football I've ever seen. Port Adelaide is like that as well.
Yeah.
Like I know they've got some players that have some flair about them every now and then. I find Port Adelaide so bland to watch play. That Port Adelaide St Kilda game, if you watched it, you should be entitled to free counselling because that was one of the worst games of football I've ever seen. Anyway, we're talking about Tom Powell. Barrel, 22 touches, 100% disposal efficiency.
Which is great from him.
Once again, like a Simpkin, complementing the midfield when other players are starring.
Yeah.
And
that's what you need.
A good bounce back from him after he's been poor since the bye.
Yeah, he's had a pretty quiet few weeks and his disposal efficiency hasn't really been there the last couple of weeks as well. So it was a very good return from him for sure.
And once again, it's the maturity of knowing that other players are dominating. How can I complement them to make them better? And I think
definitely
your Simpkins and your Powells have done that incredibly well.
100%.
I've got a note here randomly before we go on to a couple of other plays. We did it without Wardlaw, and that's what I love about this midfield group as well is I was very nervous going into this game without George Wardlaw because we know what Wardlaw can do.
Of course.
For players like Simpkin and Powell to step up and especially, and shout out to Sheezel for doing a lot of contested work this game with a Wardlaw being out. I love that players stepped up and filled such a huge void.
Definitely.
For us. And you know, if we play like that with a Wardlaw in that
well,
team,
next week Wardlaw comes back. I know we have a very tricky 3 weeks coming up. We've got Sydney, Carlton, and then Geelong. But you know, I mean, we've just got to give it our best shot.
I don't think we're going to look. I could see us getting smashed against the Swans.
Don't
but
throw it out there.
No,
Why
no.
do you do this?
I'm not. No, I could see us losing big to the Swans, but not in the way of that we give up. I could see them just like overpowering us and being better than us, but I don't see us going into that game and not trying in the second half. Like
I
we
think
used
we'll
to.
win. But anyway,
yeah,
that's another story.
Talk to me about Will Phillips, Marnie.
Again, another really impressive game from Will Phil. Kept Matt Rao to quite a minimal impact. They used to play on each other back in the day before they were drafted. Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine during the week who said they played a lot of footy against each other, and Will Phil usually had Rao covered. One thing I'd love from Will Phil, and he has kicked a couple of goals since he's come back into the side, but I'd love him to get to a level where not only is he tagging, but he's also having an impact. I thought he was okay yesterday, but I think that, you know, he's one of our best ball users in my opinion, and I would love a world where we could see him tag when he needs to tag and then be his own player when he needs to be his own player. Alex Chincotta from Carlton does it really, really well. He's a tagger, and while he doesn't really have a lot of the ball, he kind of just makes opportunities when he can, a very opportunistic player. So I'd really love Will Phil as he gets more game time to be able to step into that role. But again, he's playing his role, and you know, Rao did have a bit of the ball yesterday, but he wasn't damaging anywhere near where he has been, and we know he can be. He's one of the best contested possession players in the game.
I think Will Phil, I think you're right. Like Will Phil limited Rao yesterday. I think Rao was maybe not the best midfield, but I think he still did enough. I think Rao had a good game.
Yeah.
Tackled a lot of contested work, a lot of clearance.
Yeah.
But Will Phil was all over him, and I could only imagine if Rao was able to get off the leash a little bit and feed those guys more.
How damaging
we
he
know
would've
how
been.
damaging they can be going through the middle. So I think, look, I wouldn't say it's an outstanding game from Will Phillips or one that we'll remember, but once again, the floor has been raised for players to at least do a job.
And you have to persist with him.
Oh yeah, I agree.
We've said this all year, but like really now you got to keep going.
I agree. Let's talk about helmet. I've got the note here for me is I don't think Xerri I was thinking Xerri's going to dominate this kid Moyle, which is a silly name.
He can't help that.
Is Moyle and Bryn Teakle stood next to each other, Marnie, and I didn't know which one was which. They look exactly the same.
Well, I'll give you a hint. Bryn Teakle was wearing a North jumper.
Oh.
And Moyle was wearing a Suns jumper.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Sorry, I only saw the mullet.
Glad I could help.
Don't think Xerri dominated his opponent, which I maybe expected him to with the form he's been in. I think Moyle was one of the highest rated players on the ground for the Suns. Actually had a very, very good game. But I think this is, like we've been saying for other players, one, Xerri around the ground has been much better of recent. Took a couple of contested marks, kicked a goal, tackling for days.
Yep.
But Xerri did what he needed to do.
Yep.
I maybe expected him to get on top of Moyle more. He did not. Still, very good performance.
Yep.
Won the hit-outs. Our clearance numbers back it up and did what he needed to do around the ground. And once again, complemented that midfield very, very well. So continues his good form. I was maybe hoping for a complete and utter domination of Moyle, but credit to Moyle, he stood up really well against a pretty scary opponent of recent weeks.
I had someone tweet me during the week and said that Moyle's numbers in the reserves had actually been quite strong. So I expected a challenge for Xerri, but I think that Tristan Xerri will be in the All-Australian discussion this year. And yesterday's
At most, maybe
game,
the 40, but yeah. I think
yesterday's
he deserves to be in
game
discussion.
for me reaffirmed that, because I think that you've said this a few times on the show this year that your one criticism of Xerri is he's really great in the ruck and, around, stoppage and clearance and stuff like that, but his impact around the ground maybe isn't as,
lax a little bit.
We want more. Again, yesterday he was everywhere.
Yep.
And I think he's really having an impact and he's making such a difference on the ground. His contested marking work in the last sort of 2 months
It's
in
improving.
particular has been awesome.
Yep.
And you always know you're going to get something from Tristan Xerri now, be it in the ruck, be it tackling, be it clearance work, being a marking target up forward, because now he's adding goals to his game. I just don't think we actually give him enough credit. And I don't know if we don't give him enough credit because we're so spoilt with how Goldstein used to play.
I think his level's gone beyond the credit we give him, though. Like, I think we give it, and once again, it's sometimes hard for me to have Tristan Xerri opinions because of the history of my opinion.
You have a very checkered history.
Yes, we do. He doesn't know that though. I love Tristan Xerri now. Don't get me wrong. And I feel like I've been praising him for months.
Yeah,
now,
you have.
know what I mean?
You have.
But like, you're right. Like I think he's playing so well. It's almost like
what more can we say?
What more can we really say? I want to say more, but I can't. Like yesterday, once again, I don't think it's unfair to say maybe it wasn't like the Collingwood game where he was just like doing what he wanted, right? And I expect him to be able to do that more times than not now.
Yeah.
But a really good effort of a young player in Moyle who's been in apparently good form in the VFL to come in, gets his opportunity, and probably was excited and went out there and really gave it a crack. Xerri was the better ruckman throughout the day and more consistent. Moyle maybe had more moments, but I believe that needs to be Tristan Xerri's base level now, and everything above that is fantastic.
Which I think it is.
So a really good game. I don't want people to think I'm saying he wasn't good.
Absolutely.
I get worried now.
No,
you guys have
and
scarred me.
I don't think people do. I just think that I think as well. It's I think it's a victim. Like I think with North, we were so spoiled with what Goldstein was able to produce week in week out for a decade, basically over a decade. And just. He was such an incredible player in the ruck and around the ground and so agile, and he was able to win games off his own boot, all that sort of thing, and we know that. So I think we're so used to that now. So Xerri almost seamlessly fitting in and adapting to that role and giving that to us now, I think we're really spoiled. And I just think that, we've got to give him more credit. I think he's definitely in the frame for All-Australian squad. I think he would definitely be in the frame for Sid Barker. I reckon he probably takes it out at this point, to be honest. I think LDU and Sheez will give him a run for his money, but I think Xerri should really be, after the season Xerri's had, I think he should be in the box seat for the Sid Barker medal as well. So anyway.
It's interesting because I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I think he might be the most consistent poll or vote getter.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's had as many games he's been best on like LDU or Sheezel. I think that maybe will be the difference. But he's going to be up there. If he's not top 3, I'd be shocked.
Should we throw some more voice memos and then come back and finish out the show?
We'll do the Fords, we'll do the Golden Helmet, and we'll do the Sean Atley Club Champ, and then we'll just talk about life.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
So good. That's the last time we're on the bottom of the ladder for the next 10 years. Probably more. And next time, we're starting Colby McKercher chant in Bay 29. We have to.
That Boomer Harvey-like run from McKercher that hits Silver on the chest has been playing on every single device we own all night long. Wasn't that game just magnificent?
Hey Marnie and Josh, I just wanted to say what an absolute amazing game that was. I was on edge the whole round, could not believe what I was watching. Colby McKercher, you were an absolute legend. I love you, you were insane. That run with the ball was fucking crazy. And oh my gosh, Chom, you are a goat. You were insane. I love both of you so much. I love all of you boys. I can't believe what we managed to do. Winning by 4 points. Let's go. Watch out, Sydney. We are no longer bottom of the ladder. We are coming for you.
Ganga! I called it 2 weeks ago that we're going to lose to the umpiring Bulldogs, followed by a victory against the Hardwick Suns. Oh, I love it when they prove me right.
Fucking finally, a 4-quarter effort, and what do you know, we get a win. LDU, Simpkin, Sheezel, amazing in the middle. I don't know what was better, Tom Powell's barrel or Colby's assist along the wing. Come on, boys, there's more wins to come.
What a game. We are so back. Bay 29 was bouncing. Also, I do believe Charlie Comben said he was going to give a kanga at our first home win. So what's up with that, Chom?
After that win, I can confidently say that Colby McKercher would absolutely outrun prime Usain Bolt. Someone tell me otherwise. Shout out to my North bestie Marnie. So happy that the boys could get a dub in your birthday. Go Roos.
LDU took the piss, Sheezel took the piss, but honestly, the highlight of my day was seeing Josh get up with a mouthful of chips and rip out a kanga. Up the fucking roos.
Hey Josh, hey Marnie, it's Paul here. What amazing day. What a great performance by the boys. Kirch, LDU, Sheezel, amazing. And Arch as well. And what a crowd today. Even though it was 17,000, it felt like 45. Go Roos.
The aura is high here, Marnie. A word I love to use all the time because I am young, hip and with it.
And I'm 30.
And Marnie's 30, so she doesn't get me. We're of a different generation. Let's talk about the forward line.
Do you want to talk about Bryn Teakle?
I want to talk about Bryn Teakle.
Go. Floor is yours.
I love Brentico.
I know.
Marnie.
I know.
He has been so good just doing the 1%ers.
Yeah.
Like the contested marks, two contested marks, fantastic contested marks yesterday as well. Such a strong such strong marking in contests, which CCJ could never do. Xerri's never been able to do, maybe until recent. Larkey can't do.
Yeah.
He has been the biggest reason for me why this forward line is playing as well as it is. I think the forward line has room for improvement.
Yeah, of course.
I think that's still probably our weakest area, even though they played well yesterday.
Yeah.
He has been the biggest reason for me why this is being able to be, a more functional part of the ground for us, because 2 goals, 2 contested marks.
He had like
backing up
5 touches or something. So like it was really it wasn't even a high numbers game. He just did what he had to do.
Because it's not about, with players like him, it's not about the amount of touches you get.
No.
Even just bringing it to ground, competing in the contest.
Yeah.
Being able to draw a player away from. Larky's been marking the ball better recently because he's not showered in 6'4" blokes.
Yeah.
Because there's no one else there to give him a hand. Zerha getting off the leash a little bit more, maybe not yesterday, but in weeks gone by, I think it's got a lot to do with Brentico taking a bigger defender.
Yep.
I love this guy, and he can. He's kicked a goal in nearly every game he's played.
He's exactly what we needed, and
exactly.
he's
And mid-season draft, not even like a top pick in the mid-season. He's our second pick in the mid-season draft.
Yeah.
Like, are we taking the piss? Brady Rawlings, mate, give him a pay rise.
That was a really, and we said it, same with Kallan Dawson. Obviously, Kallan Dawson's been a longer term prospect, but Brentico, we identified a need that we so desperately needed to cover, and it wasn't for lack of trying. Obviously, CCJ went down early in the season-ending injury. We tried Tyler Sellers, we tried Hugh Greenwood in that role, and they just weren't quite the right fit, and they weren't able to give us what we needed. So to identify that need and to fill it so well, I think it's also helped Xerri's game. Teakle can alleviate some pressure off Xerri in the ruck. Xerri can then get off the leash, and he's been having great impact around the ground. Also doesn't mean that Larkey is taken away from the forward line, and Larkey's had a quiet couple of weeks, but he's too important for us to actually take out of that forward line and put him in the ruck. It's not worth it. So for Teakle to be able to do that and to fill that need and to fill it really well, it's just been a masterstroke. It's been an incredible addition, and it's added another dimension to our forward line for sure.
This is the biggest hole in our team. The biggest hole in our entire team, and he's come in and filled it.
Yeah.
And we've only won games. Was he there for the West Coast game? No, he wasn't. He came in the week after, didn't he?
I think so.
Yeah. I was going to say we've won every game Brentico's played, but no, we haven't. No, so, I just love what he's contributing. And I understand he had 5-6 touches yesterday, but it's every single one of his touches did something.
Yeah.
And Larkey only had 5 touches as well, or 6 touches and kicked 3 goals.
Yeah.
Teakle had 6 and kicked 2 goals. That's all we need.
Yep.
And this is what we said with guys like Steve-O or someone, and that's why they're out of the team now. Because if you get 10 touches, we got to kick 2 goals.
The return of Larkey I thought was excellent as well. He was back yesterday, kicked 3 goals, and I think the biggest benefit for Larkey was the way the ball was delivered to him, lace out on the chest.
What a surprise, Marnie.
Mind-blowing stuff.
You kick the ball to a leading player's chest and they get a free shot at goal.
Even early, he had the first kick of the game, and unfortunately
it was a nice kick
missed.
by Simpkin on the left too.
Exactly. It was a great delivery into the forward 50. Larkey took an uncontested mark on the chest. That is exactly what we need to do.
He's arguably the best lead-up forward in the competition. I'm thinking of the other forwards. Curno's more of a contested player. Mackay's definitely a contested player. Hogan's a contested player. I'm trying to think who else is up there in the Coleman. Langford, is he still up there? I don't even know. As a forward who leads to the ball and that's his game, he's the best, if not one of the best in the competition. We said this last week. Our midfielders need to be better understanding who we're kicking to and playing to their strengths.
100%.
Simpkin and Powell are playing to LDU and Sheez's strengths yesterday.
Yep.
People need to do that going into the forward 50 as well. And we did that better. I'd still like it to be more because Larkey kicked 3. He could have kicked way more in that game if we were maybe able to find him a little bit more. Obviously, we've seen him kick 9 against the Suns.
Yes, we have.
So that's my expectation for him now. But really well done by Larkey as well. Competing, took a couple of really good marks up the ground
as well.
He
was massive late in the game as well.
Brought the ball to ground for that last contest to hold the ball up as well.
That last passage of play, just
so
super
leadership
important.
Stuff.
It was so great. I love Viva La Vida. I want to hear it 6 times a week.
I hate Coldplay, but I'll love them if Nick Larkey's kicking goals. If I hear any other section of a Coldplay song other than that, I'll be very upset. But if that's the only one I hear for the rest of my life, fantastic.
Bay 29's guy, Toby Pink.
Oh, Marnie.
You take the floor for this one.
The Toby Pink chant was hot in Bay 29. There's footage on the Instagram, guys. If you haven't seen the Toby Pink chant live in your home, the Toby Pink chant is on Instagram. Please follow as well. We got so many followers after the game too.
I love that.
North must have just been everywhere on social media. Thank you to everyone if you're new here as well. Toby Pink also, I tagged Toby Pink in it and he sent me some blue and white hearts.
I love that. We love you,
We're
Toby
friends
Pink.
now.
What a great snap.
Yeah, what a great snap. Like, it's just Toby Pink does Toby Pink things.
Well, I mean, it's interesting, right? You talk about like what does Toby Pink offer, and then you think about Billy Frampton in the 2023 grand final and the way he supposedly played this shutdown role on Harris Andrews. And I think that is the point of Toby Pink at this stage, is to kind of be that negating forward, and for him to actually just add, a goal to his game yesterday, or to have a couple marks here and there and to kind of have a bit more of an impact rather than just shutting somebody else out of the game. Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Tell me what you want.
Yeah. I don't disagree. There's a part of me that's always like, once again, it was almost like who's the player Kane Turner. I'm not likening Toby Pink to Kane Turner, but my point here is last year I was saying the whole time that, yes, I understand Kane Turner loves the club and he pressures and he chases and he tackles.
Yeah.
We can find a player who can do that plus kick goals and do things as a forward as well.
Mm-hmm.
Toby Pink, I think he's a better player than Kane Turner. Let's get that out of here. Let's not get it twisted.
Okay.
Marnie, okay?
Yeah.
Please do not message me and say that I said that Toby Pink and Kane Turner are the same player. He's producing a little bit more than maybe what I expect or think he might.
Yeah.
I still think obviously he's a bit of a short-term option, but I'd like to find someone who can do that and kick 2 or 3 as well.
Yeah.
As an example, like, Teagle's come in and elevated miles above Toby Pink is as important in this team. But look, credit to Toby Pink. He always competes. If he is leading people out of the contest, I probably want my player to impact the game a bit more, but I guess that's the role. But I think they've made that role for a player of his ability as well. But hey, we only get Toby Pink highlights as well.
And it's working. I mean, the forward line, while it does definitely, there's room for improvement, it's the most functional it's looked all season is when we've had Pink, Teakle and Larkey, and then you've got Curtis and Zerha, and then sort of closer to goal, and then Eddie Ford pushing up a little bit higher up the ground. So it's working, and don't, look, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
I'm not expecting him to come out. If we've got more talented players that need to come in, he's someone I would want to make way. But if we don't think that's the option, I'm not pissed off if Toby Pink stays in the team.
Great. Glad we got there.
Yeah. Toby Pink also went to shepherd a ball through the goal from LDU's goal, which nearly bounced at a right angle like Shane Warne and nearly hit the post.
Yeah.
Probably just mark that, Toby Pink.
Yep.
I understand you want to, and LDU deserve the goal and everything, a great run from him and a great finish, but let's just make sure that it's definitely a goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So look, I guess I am a redheaded forward from back in the day. So maybe I do know a thing or two, Toby, but no, shout out to Toby Pink. Thank you for the message. I back you to kick a bag against the Swans. Old team, the redemption arc, Toby Pink redemption game.
Can't wait.
Wow, I'm changing my tip. We're winning.
Great. I'm glad you're finally on board with my Delulu. Zerha, Eddie Ford and Paul Curtis all a little bit quieter than what we've seen from recent weeks, but all played their role. I mean, obviously Paul Curtis kicked what was the sealer in the end. Zerha had a pretty aggressive game with 7 tackles. Eddie Ford was a little bit quiet, but he still was lively.
Yeah.
And he still sort of threw himself.
He's always a threat. I think that's the thing.
I think so too. And I think you always know you're going to get something from Eddie Ford. And yesterday he did take a couple of nice marks and, sort of contributed a little bit, maybe not as much as you said we have in recent weeks, but all 3 of them still played a role.
Yeah.
And there was
Yeah. But this is the thing about the team now that's a lot different is the floor has risen, which we've said so much in this podcast, but it's true. Look at the difference. I was literally just thinking I zoned out a second there, Marnie. I was listening to you, but I was trying to remember, I wonder what the team was when we went down and played Port Adelaide in Tasmania last year. I wonder what the team was that we went down
last year or pre-buy?
No, last year.
Oh, okay.
So when we went because me and the admins went down to Tassie to watch them, and I remember that Jack Marnie and Phoenix Spicer were in our forward line.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking then, obviously, Eddie Ford is going to offer a base minimum sort of effort where those players never were going to, and that's the reason. This is the reason why the Hawks are good, and I hate the Hawks, and we all know that. But the reason that the Hawks are good and
Yeah.
they're playing so well
Yeah.
is because they don't have players on their list that their floor is low.
Yeah.
All of them at least have a base level of effort, which is going to be good enough to get a win or win a contest
Yeah.
or get a fast break or something like that.
Yeah.
We're catching up to that now.
Yeah.
With players like Ford and Curtis Taylor and Darcy Tucker, or maybe he's gone a little bit ahead of that even. It's a base level. Stop smiling like that when I say Darcy Tucker, man. I'm trying to make a concise point for the viewers to listen to analytical football chat from a great football mind, and you're just smiling and give me side eyes.
I love when you phrase Darcy Tucker.
Okay. If you don't follow us on YouTube, this is the stuff that I don't know. Hopefully this comes across as well in audio, because if you guys want to see Marnie's face and how she was looking at me just then, go to YouTube, because I'm trying to make a concise football opinion here, Marnie. This is what we do, you know, and we're sitting here. Okay, I'm over it. Sorry. You've thrown me. Eddie Ford's good. I like his hair. Let's move on. Golden helmet.
Josh talking about Darcy Tucker. No, I'm kidding. It's obviously Colby McKercher's run. I mean, nothing's going to compare to that from yesterday's game. We had
Shout out to the barrel.
and
from Tom
LDU's almost goal of the year.
Oh, yes.
And Aiden Corr's candy once again.
That's not even exciting anymore, mate. That's just what I expect.
I think it's exciting.
Yeah, I know you think it's exciting. It was more of a point to suggest that he does it every week.
Toby Pink's goal as well. There was lots of memorable moments yesterday. The Harry Sheezel spoil,
yes.
the Paul Curtis goal, and obviously the Paul Curtis match winning mark. But I think Colby McKercher.
There's no
Colby
debate.
McKercher's
Colby
run
McKercher's
was definitely
Colby
player
McKercher
of the
gets the
day.
golden helmet this week. I wish we could get in more cahoots with the club and present a golden helmet, and he has to wear it next game.
Well,
You know some people there, Marnie. Pull some strings.
okay. I'll work on it, guys.
That means no for any of you guys out there who if your partner goes to you, okay, guess what? That means no.
Speaking of Colby McKercher, he's also taken out our 3 votes in the Sean Atley Club Champ
Ooh,
this
yes.
week. We
Now-
thought we were going to debate this topic, and then we both just listed
So before
off
the
the same.
podcast, we were like, we agreed on the 3 with LDU, Sheez, and McKercher.
Yeah.
But we were like, I don't know if we're going to be able to pick who the 3 are. And we both said at the same time, Kurt, Sheez, LDU.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty right.
I think that's right.
You know, there's so many other players we could
If we could give everyone votes, we would.
Yeah.
That's how excellent the
I want
performance was
to.
yesterday.
I want to give Bryn Tinkle a vote so bad, but I know I can't. But I want to so bad.
If it was up to me, Aiden Corr would be winning this whole thing, okay? But we can't always have what we want, so we need to
know.
compromise.
I'm thinking next year, Marnie, do we put one extra vote in the Sean Atley Club Champs just for a player who did like a Bryn Tinkle performance? Because I feel like we try and spread it out, and it's not just the best on the ground. But I feel like we need a vote for like an unsung hero.
Maybe we just give an unsung hero vote.
Can I give Bryn Tinkle a vote?
Not today. I'm talking about just whoa, okay.
Sorry, Marnie, I love Bryn Tinkle.
Like it's something we could work on.
All right, we'll
for
talk
next
about it.
season.
We'll
Let's
talk
keep
about
things
it.
how they are for now. I think we'll
We'll
debate
compromise and
about
do
it.
what Marnie wants,
We
guys.
debate about it enough, week in, week out. So yeah, let's do what I say, and we'll revisit that next year.
Next year. Oh, all
We've
right.
already got the golden helmet. I think that's enough of an addition
Okay,
for the people
it'll-
for now.
That's
Because then
true.
we'll
Too
probably
much
forget
content.
it.
It'll be Sean Atley Club Champ, and it'll be the Bryn Tinkle player of the game.
Why can't we name something after Aiden Corr?
Your life is named after Aiden Corr. Your heart is named after Aiden Corr.
Pretty much.
And it was all Aiden Corr yesterday, your birthday and everything.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it was very special.
McKercher 3.
She's 2.
She's 2, LD 1.
LD1. We're done.
Yes.
Thank you for everyone who just put up with my performance. Josh definitely got the 3 votes there.
Yes. And Marnie, you can have the Bryn Tinkle award for this
Great.
game as
Thank
well.
you.
The
Thank you
unsung
so
hero.
much.
It's like a coach's vote. I won the coach's award in my first year of football, which made me go, God, I've got to get better at this. And I came back stronger next year. Actually won the goal kicking next year. Don't
There
wanna
you
brag.
go. Redemption arc.
Watch out.
Just like Toby Pink will have next week against the Swans. But before that, if you want any more content, we are all over social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and TikTok, Further North Pod. Also, don't forget to send in your voice memos. We play them every single week on the show, furthernorthpod@gmail.com.
Yes. Helmet Jerry game is coming up as well.
Against Richmond
Against
in round
Richmond,
21.
round 21, 3rd of August it will be. I found some helmets on Amazon.
Great.
Which I'm going to order because they'll come within 2 days. My Temu one is on the way and it
Great.
said it's out for delivery.
Yeah.
Hasn't shown up yet.
It'll get here soon.
Look, find helmets anywhere you can. I looked at Facebook Marketplace a couple of days ago. There's like a $5 one on there.
Great.
You know, you can chuck it in the wash, wear it for a game. You'll be fine. Find them anywhere you can, guys. Please. We want as many helmet Jerrys in this bay
As
and around
possible.
the ground as possible.
Definitely.
If you can't get into 29, please still buy them. We're going to do a big meetup. Probably after the game, maybe before the game. If we lose, probably don't want to meet up.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We're all going to meet up, get photos, and we're going to try and get Tristan Xerri to come over and take a photo with everybody as well. So please get involved in that. That'll be very, very fun. Anything else to finish on?
Thanks everyone again for all your birthday wishes this weekend. I'm very much feeling the love at the game and across socials as well. We will be back in your ears on Friday with the preview pod against the Swans and then again next week.
I'm trying to think. I wish I had a 17 again movie T-shirt because North Melbourne's 17th again. That'd be really cool. I'm going to go watch 17 again, guys.
I'm going to go have a nap because I need it. Bye, guys. We'll see you soon.
We want to go